Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode number 45, Weekly Thought, AT&T. Hello and welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast. My name is Tim and I'm the host of this podcast. And today, for the Friday-Saturday episode, the Weekly Thought episode, I decided I'd spend some time discussing simply AT&T. And as many people are aware, AT&T recently announced new data plans for both the iPhone and the iPad. So I'm going to kind of go into my history as far as what I've thought about AT&T up until now and my thoughts regarding them now and kind of what those new data plans are and kind of why this is all wrong, why they did this wrong, and why it is such a big deal. So that's all coming up on this episode of the iPad Possibilities Podcast. So, I've been with AT&T since the original iPhone came out. I purchased the iPhone back in 2007, but did not end up using it until 2008 when our family finally switched over to AT&T. So I used the original iPhone for about a year as a glorified iPod Touch before that was even a product. And it was a great device for that, but when it became a phone, it was wonderful. Now, when it became a phone, I had no problems with AT&T. Their service is great in Indianapolis. It's flawless. I have very fast connection speeds. I have not experienced drop calls or bad service really of any kind as far as when I've been in Indianapolis. But when I travel, I do notice in Chicago, for instance, it's not the best of service. But up until now, I've been very impressed with how they've conducted their business. Now, as many people are aware, AT&T recently announced they're changing their data plans. And they say they're doing this to make smartphones more affordable for more people. And that may be true, but the problem is they're lumping the iPad in as a smartphone, when it should be more as a laptop type of consumption device where you're going to go through more data than you do on an iPhone. And what the data plan changes are, if you're curious. If you haven't heard, they are now 200 megabytes for $15 on the iPhone, or it will stick with the 250 megabytes, I believe, for the iPad. That won't change at all. And then for the old $30 unlimited plan, they're getting rid of both of those for the iPhone and the iPad. And they're capping you at 2 gigabytes per month on either the iPhone or the iPad. And I think this is actually not that bad for the iPhone. I kind of freaked out at first for the iPhone, but when I'm on the iPhone, I don't tend to use as much data as I might think I do. Now, my problems aren't with the iPhone. I think the iPhone, that's great. People can now afford the iPhone. They can jump in at the $15 data plan now. That's a big barrier for a lot of people. At $30 a month is a huge barrier, and it expands the audience of who could possibly afford an iPhone now. And that is wonderful. That is great. I'm happy to see them do that. I think the 2 gigabyte cap is a little low. They say 2% of our users are never gonna, I forget the quote they say, but they say very rarely people go above that. And they take these numbers, they take how they came up with how much data to give us based on smartphones. They did not have enough time to deduct, hey, does the iPad, it's not really a phone, do people use 3G more on this? Will you go through more data? Do the web pages actually, I think they might even take more data to load a single web page than they do on the smaller screen phones, because it's a fuller featured computer. AT&T did not consider this at all. They lumped it in with the rest of the mobile devices. And this is just crazy, especially in the keynote where Steve Jobs, as a selling point of the iPad 3G, told us it's going to be an unbelievable breakthrough deal. $30, unlimited data. And that was a breakthrough deal. Before that, you had to pay $60 to get unlimited, or 5 gigabytes of data, right? Before that, if you want a MiFi that had unlimited data, the 5 gigabytes is what is quote unquote unlimited. It was $60. At $30 with true unlimited, that was breakthrough. but it only lasts for 2 months. What is with that? It's like saying you just bought this car, but you can only drive it 3 days out of the 7 days. That's not really good an analogy. But they're crippling the iPad, and they lied, most importantly, they lied to consumers who purchased the iPad believing that you could have unlimited data for that $30. That is a huge selling point. I don't know what kind of business would do that to their customers. They advertise this great feature, this $30 unlimited data plan, and they cut you down to not 5 gigabytes, which could have been reasonable because other devices that say unlimited are 5 gigabytes. My5's, that's 5 gigabytes for $60 a month. They could easily have done 5 gigabytes for $30 a month. But no, on the iPad, it's 2 gigabytes now. And it's crazy, especially giving people notice of 5 days to activate this. And the bigger problem even is the iPad is backordered, right? It's very hard to get your hands on an iPad 3G. And those that have ordered the iPad 3G already will not be able to participate in this $30 unlimited plan that they purchased the iPad for. It is crazy that they just flipped the switch 5 days, 6 days later. You can't sign up for it, even though you might have purchased the iPad before they even announced this, because the iPad is so popular. It's hard to get your hands on it. And as a consumer, you are literally just hit over the head with, wow, I just got whatever you want to, expletive you want to say. But I won't say those kinds of things on this podcast. But it's just crazy to think how fast a company could change their position on pricing for data. I think Apple's website still to this day has the old pricing, $30 for unlimited data. But you're not going to receive your iPad in time to even sign up for that. It's great that I, as an iPad user before this happened, can keep that $30 unlimited data plan. That's awesome. I'm glad they're doing that. There would be a huge outcry if there wasn't that option be grandfathered in. But it is still not good enough for those that have purchased iPads already to say, you can't have that, even though you bought the iPad knowing you could do that. But because it's so popular, because it's backordered, because it might take you a month to get it, because shipping times are very slow. Apple's website says 7 to 10 days for delivery. And I've heard people saying it's more like a month. That actually, after they ordered it, they received their shipping confirmation that a month later they'd get it. So those that have ordered their iPads even a couple weeks ago might not have them in time to activate that unlimited data. And June 7th, once June 7th hits, that's gone. And it's just, I was just kind of furious as far as how AT&T lumps the iPad together with the iPhone. I understand the iPhone. I understand smartphones, 2 gigabytes. That is plenty for most people, myself probably included. But the iPad is a different breed of device. And AT&T with this has crippled the iPad 3G to new users. I would love to give my mom an iPad 3G with unlimited data so she doesn't have to worry about if she uses more than 2 gigabytes. And it's not hard to go above 2 gigabytes with the iPad because you have things like Netflix, the ABC app, and older people don't really want to monitor their data usage. They just want to know it works and they can have it, and data is just accessible because it's unlimited and I paid for that. And they need to do something to address this. They need some sort of higher data usage for the iPad. The iPad is not a smartphone, AT&T. It is a new type of computer that people will use more data. People watch movies on here more than they would ever on a phone. They stream things more than they ever would have on a phone. It's not a phone. It's a pad. It's a computer. It is something brand new that a month after American customers could get their hands on it, they could just snatch it out from them. That no, we're switching the terms on you. Pray I don't, it's like the Empire Strikes Back quote. Pray I don't alter it further, right? You know, from Darth Vader who, on Abyss, right? Pray I don't alter it further. And that's really what AT&T is doing. They're just turning the tables way too quickly. It's almost like it's kind of the backwards effect of what happened with the original iPhone. The original iPhone was $600, and then the price dropped a couple of $100. I think it was down to $300 and $400, down from $500 and $600, or it might have even dropped to $200 and $300. I forget the price changes, but when that price changed, the original customers felt betrayed and all that, so we got a $100 gift card from Apple. This is kind of the opposite as far as being good to consumers. This is where, hey, we advertise this, that you could have this $30 unlimited plan, but now we're getting rid of that, and we're not even advertising that on Apple's website, that we're changing this. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm a little bit peeved at AT&T for doing this. And I think it's a real disservice to those that have purchased their iPads already but haven't gotten their hands on them because of slow shipping times, because it is a popular device. I think if they were going to flip the switch, they should have waited until shipping times were 24 hours, where you could walk in an Apple store, pick up an iPad, and I think they should have waited there. I also think they should have differentiated the iPad from mobile phones. They should have given us different data options. They should have given us at least 5 gigabytes of data for that $30 instead of that 2 gigabyte cap, which you will blow past really quickly if you're streaming video. I did around 9 gigabytes without really trying, because I do live in areas that don't have the best Wi-Fi access, but I want to watch some videos. So I blew past that. And this really cripples applications like Air Video, if you want to use it away from your house, ABC app, the Netflix app. It really cripples those to making you want to be on Wi-Fi. And many people are on Wi-Fi all the time, but for those that really don't live in a strong Wi-Fi area, it's not good. It just makes me so angry. So I don't know if you guys agree with me here that the iPad should be thought of as a different device by AT&T than a regular phone, or if you think AT&T was in the right here in switching the terms with people after a month of release and with it not really being readily available. So I would really love your feedback here. I am just so angry at what's happened over the past few days with AT&T as of that announcement, and I just think this is a really wrong thing, and this is the first thing that AT&T has done to make me not want to continue to be on their service. I've been fine with their service up until now. I've been fine with all of their terms, all their conditions, all their stupid fees for canceling whatever activation fees and all those kinds of things. I've been fine with all that. But changing the terms of service this quickly, that's not fine. That is something that some government official should look into. It's false advertising is what it really was. The keynote was a lie. It was there for a month and then it's gone. I'm not sure if this indicates that AT&T is losing their exclusivity with the iPhone this Monday, but I hope it means something, because I want to see the iPad now on different carriers, because AT&T obviously is not ready to support it. And I don't know. I don't want to keep on rambling, but those are my thoughts regarding what's going on with AT&T, my past experience with AT&T, and I'm just glad that I can keep the unlimited data. But for those listening to this, you probably can't get your hands on the iPad in time to activate that unlimited data plan. So those that have it, enjoy it, and remember to have that credit card funded so you can continue to pay that $30 to get that data, and make sure you keep that plan active, because another thing AT&T did was You know how you were able to sign off of data and sign back on without any fees of cancellation because it's on a contract? Now, because AT&T did this, they kind of locked you guys into staying subscribed each and every month, even if you're not going to use the data each and every month. They locked you in. That's what they just did, because you can't resubscribe after June 7th with unlimited data. So I'm locked in forever, $30 a month, unlimited data. They locked you in without a contract. It's just unbelievable. So I'm going to end my thoughts there. I'd really appreciate your feedback regarding this at iPadPossibilities@gmail.com and 209-542-iPad. Send those voice comments in. Email me with voice comments, and I'd love to hear back regarding your thoughts regarding this whole AT&T debacle that they've done. The iPhone and the iPad are different. The iPad is different from a phone. I'd love to hear your thoughts regarding this. If you would like to support this podcast, I just want to mention some ways to do that. First off, in iTunes, I'd love if you could leave a review and just spend 60 seconds of your time doing that. And if there's something that you don't like, if there's something that I'm doing wrong, or if there's some audio problem, instead of leaving a review, I'd rather appreciate simply emailing me, because I cannot contact you. I cannot address problems that might be going on that I'm unaware of if you don't email me. So that would be really appreciated. I've had some things in the past where people have left reviews that I've actually already addressed, or if you haven't let me know, I can't really address it. So email me. That's the best way for me to fix problems that I don't know about. Also, to support the show, you can do that the best way is by becoming a premium member of the podcast. It is only $2 a month, and with that $2, it'll make up for the subscription cost each and every month, because you will be the first to know about free applications available for your iPad through promo codes that I get from developers. Developers actually give me free copies of their applications to give away, and as a premium member, you'll be on an email listserv that when I get promo codes, you'll find out about those before anybody else anybody else that has the application or that just gets the show on the regular feed. So you'll be the first to know. You also get the shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and a couple of other benefits. If you just go to thepossibilitiesnetwork.com, you'll find out all the information you need to there about the premium show. It's only $2 a month, and I'd really appreciate your support with that. And the final way to support the show is through the iPad Possibilities podcast app. Found in the App Store now for $2.99. And with that app, you get the shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And every once in a while, I've got some video episodes I post there. So check those out to support the show. So thanks again for listening. And this should be a very exciting weekend. Please join us this Sunday night for the live show at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's going to be a lot of things to discuss. Steve Jobs was recently at the D conference, so we'll be discussing those things and just a lot of things in general. It's going to be a great time. And then Monday night, we'll be doing another, I'm not sure if it'll be live, but a very exciting weekend going on. And I'd appreciate it if you just want to join us on Sunday night, and possibly Monday night, we'll be discussing this Steve Jobs keynote at WWDC. So lots of stuff going on. And just subscribe to the podcast to stay up to all the things that are going on. So until Sunday night, this is Tim Chatton of the iPad Possibilities podcast. We will speak again then.